Hello everyone and welcome to week 4 of the UBLN. We are facing Quinn and the Toronto Togekiss, our second straight Toronto team, and the last one didn't go so well. So let's hope we have a little bit better luck against Quinn, but I don't necessarily see that happening because I am terrified of his team. What we're expecting him to bring: Hydreigon, Tornadus, Therian Form, Uxie, Jolteon, Mega Aggron, and Tapu Bulu, but there's a lot of Pokemon on his team that I could see him bringing that aren't specifically those threats. Now, we are going to get connected to the internet, and we are going to get this battle right underway for you guys. I don't want to waste any more of your time. We are 2-1. He is, I believe, also 2-1, and we will be taking on the Toronto Togekiss in this Week 4 matchup. I'll see you guys back here in a second with that match. Just a reminder, if you didn't watch the Team Builder, we are bringing Exploud, Mew, Delphox, Galvantula, Breloom, and Dusknoir. If you want to see those sets and what we're running specifically on them, I encourage you to go watch the Team Builder. It is uploaded, obviously, the day before the battles every single time. So, be right back. Alright, everyone, welcome back. Here we are facing Quinn. We are connected, we are ready to go, and we're going to jump right into this as we get to see Team Preview right now. He has got Piloswine. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting that to come. Tornadus. We do see that Hydreigon. I am terrified of it. Nihilego comes, Mega Aggron comes, and Jolteon comes. Now, oh man, I am so scared of Hydreigon. I knew he'd bring it, and I couldn't. Anyway, I knew that it was going to be a problem for my team. So we don't see the Tapu Bulu, which is awesome. Instead, we see Nihilego, which is workable. I wouldn't call it awesome, but it's doable. And we don't see the Uxie. Instead, we see the Piloswine. So, he's got some threats on his team right now, but we'll put that Piloswine right in there and figure out our lead for this matchup. And I think the lead is the same as it's been before, which is that Delphox. However, him having the Piloswine makes me think that's his Stealth Rocker, and that's the first Pokemon he wants to lead with. And leading with Delphox against a Piloswine isn't ideal, but it's not the end of the world either. I can eat any one hit with the Focus Sash. I can Magic Coat on the predictable rocks and get those up on his side of the field. So I think the plan is exactly what we thought it was going to be. We do see both of his potential defoggers on his side of the field, so he could have the Tornadus or the Hydreigon use that. He could lead Nihilego as well. If he leads Nihilego, then we're in great shape leading Delphox. If he's trying to get Stealth Rocks and Toxic Spikes up on my side of the field, or something like that. So, the Toxic Spike's not as great against my team, because obviously I do have Finny and Gliscor and Breloom, which could have Poison Heal on it. So I don't know if he'll... they're good in this matchup because I didn't bring the threats that they're not good against, but he may not have brought them for that reason. So we are going to lead with our Delphox here, Ronald, and he's going to lead. Draco's out. Hydreigon is going to hit his lead. So we're actually going to find out if this thing's Scarfed or not. If he's not Scarfed, he may switch out, because I do outspeed him. If he is Scarfed, he might just go for a Dark Pulse, which I'm okay with, because again, I have a Focus Sash, and I can steal his Scarf after that. So we're just going to straight click Dazzling Gleam. I'm not going to think too hard about it. If he does switch out into something like the Mega Aggron, it's a little bit of damage. The Nihilego can outspeed me if it's not Scarfed. Tornadus T is obviously the only, and Jolteon can both outspeed me if they are not Scarfed. But again, we have the Focus Sash. This was the plan to lead. If he did lead with the Hydreigon, then we have the opportunity to click Dazzling Gleam and straight up destroy it. So that is what we're going to try to do here. If he doesn't... If he does switch out, that's okay. We have to actually preserve our Focus Sash and get some damage off on something. And he is going to just hard switch out. That's totally fine. And it goes out into the Piloswine. So this was the thing I really didn't want to see against my Delphox. And it's going to take a little bit of damage from that Dazzling Gleam. Now, I'm going to check on how much Delphox can do to a Piloswine, which obviously could have Thick Fat. And it's probably got the Eviolite. So Fire Blast is only looking like it's doing about 30 to 40%. Now I do have Magician, and I do have Magic Coat, and I think the option here is click Magic Coat. If he does go straight for an Earthquake, which would be an interesting play on my part, then I can deal with that. If he goes for a knockoff, that's the same result. I end up itemless, and then just hit him next time and steal his Eviolite and make this thing significantly less bulky. If he goes for the Stealth Rocks, predicting my switch and predicting it to be safe, then I have rocks on his side of the field for the rest of the match. And so I think that's the play. I think he's going to be like, okay, Delphox doesn't really match up well. I could have Knockoff, I could have Earthquake, all these options, Rock Slide, whatever. And it doesn't match up well, but this is why I have Magic Coat on this Delphox, and I think it can work here. I've never had it work in a league battle, so fingers crossed. He goes for the Stealth Rock here, and we get rocks on his side of the field during this match. Now, I do have to be wary of that Hydreigon. Obviously, it doesn't appear that he is running a Scarfed Hydreigon. If he was, I would have attacked with it there. So I have to figure out what item that thing is holding, because it does do a huge amount on my entire team. But if it's not Scarfed, then Delphox outspeeds it, and Delphox can one-shot it. So that is something to be wary of, and may have been a reason to preserve my Sash. Now, here we go. We got the Magic Coat. What's he going to click? He goes straight for the Earthquake, so that's alright. We mispredict on that one. It continues to not work. And that's okay. He does bring me down to my Focus Sash. Now, I can steal his Eviolite with my Magician, unless he has Ice Shard, and I am going to switch out as a result because of the Ice Shard possibility. I just don't want to see my Delphox go down without doing anything in this battle, and I have other answers to a Piloswine at this point. So, I think that's the look. I think it's either Metronome, excuse me, my Mew, or it could be out into my Dusknoir is another option here that can really just eat up a hit from this thing. I can click Will-O-Wisp, which hits everything on his team, and I think that's the best play. I think this Dusknoir is going to be able to put in work at this point. So I'm going to switch out. If he goes for the rocks here, he goes for the rocks here. That's just an unfortunate, he just made a really good prediction, and that is what it is. But he does show the Ice Shard here, and I'm happy that I didn't just let my Delphox go down without doing anything. So he does a little bit of damage. It actually does a decent chunk of damage, making me feel like this is an offensive Piloswine here. That does more than I was expecting it to. According to my calcs, it should only do about 19% max, and that would be from Adamant, which would do like 24 damage, but that did a little bit more. May have been a crit if I wasn't paying a ton of attention, admittedly, and I wasn't. And so I'm just going to click Willow here, which neutralizes this Piloswine if he stays in. I don't know if I outspeed it. I did not calc against a Piloswine to outspeed. I don't believe I do unless he's running a negative speed nature. He should outspeed me, but Earthquake is not going to kill, and his stronger move would be Avalanche, and Avalanche would go after me after me, and that would be after the Will-O-Wisp. So if he does switch out, I can burn anything that comes in. If he's got a mixed Tornadus T with knockoff and U-turn and stuff, then that gets burned, and that's fine. If he's got Piloswine, that gets burned, that's fine. If he gets Mega Aggron burned, that's fine. Nihilego, I'd take a burn on that. We break a Sash on something. So he does hard switch out at this point. He's going to go out into Drizzy. Drizzy is the Tornadus. So we are going to click Will-O-Wisp here. We are going to connect it, and this Tornadus T is going to be burned now. So he could be running knockoff. He could be running special Tornadus T. So there's no guarantee that was like the most useful thing in the world. But as we are going to take a look, Tornadus T, it does a ton, but if it's max special attack and Life Orb, it doesn't even kill from here. And that does make me happy, that knowing that I can take another hit from this thing. And I actually kind of want to click Pain Split at this point, because of the fact that I expect him to go for something like a Hurricane and try to do a ton of damage, possibly a knockoff to get rid of my leftovers. Either way, I think a Hurricane is or something is gonna hit like really hard, but I can get that Pain Split and get a lot of damage off, get a lot of HP back, and be in a really good spot. So I'm gonna click Pain Split here. I don't want him clicking knockoff on anything else. I didn't bring Mega Beedrill. So there's the Hurricane. He misses the Hurricane, so we go for the Pain Split. We're actually gonna see how bulky this thing is with this Pain Split. We're gonna go back to full, and he's like pretty reasonably offensive, because that did not bring him down very far. So we do have that to be aware of. So the Pain Split obviously doesn't do as much as I was hoping it would do, but it does give me some information about his set. And he is burned, and we see the Hurricane, which is good information to have. We don't see the item yet, so he's not leftovers, which is good to know. And at this point, I could switch out into something else, like my Exploud or my Mew. I don't know if it's worth switching out quite yet. Mew's going to take a ton from a Hurricane, from an offensive Tornadus, and it outspeeds me. So I really don't want to do that quite yet. I do one-shot it with my ICM Z, So that is an option, but at this point I kind of just want to either click Pain Split again, expecting him to land this time, or switch out into something else, or just click Shadow Sneak and get a little bit of damage off on this thing. It's not going to do much of anything at that point. So I could Willow, but I think Pain Split's going to be the play, just expecting him to land the Hurricane this time. He goes for the U-turn, so we're just going to click Pain Split again, stay really, really healthy, and that does literally nothing because he's burned. So he shows that he's not knockoff, because I think he would have used knockoff if he had it there, even though he's burned. So he shows that he's not knockoff, and he shows that he's not life orbed, and I'm very I don't know what item this thing has. Expert Belt, perhaps. Perhaps it's no, Tornadus T is not one of his Z users, is it? I don't believe Tornadus T is one of his Z users. I can check. I can't remember what his Z users are. So Tornadus T is one of his Z users, so he could have Z move on it. We're going to see how bulky this Hydreigon is. Again, not particularly bulky. So this thing could drop a huge Draco in my face right now. Obviously, I'm really wishing that I had my... Tapu Fini to switch into here. I think the play he's going to go for is the Dark Pulse, because that does Oko my Dusknoir, and I don't want my Dusknoir going down. I really don't want to waste anything right now, so the only switch is out into Breloom, but that's a terrible switch. I could go into my, assuming he specs, then Dark Pulse kills. And I guess I could get that information. Does Dusknoir really do anything against his team? Offensively, no, but passively, yes. Will-O-Wisping the Mega Aggron later, the Piloswine later, would be huge. And I think it's honestly more useful than... Is it more useful? No, I would love to know if he specs, and if he is specs, I can go out... I can use that information to my advantage, knowing that I can take something with Breloom. Because if he specs, and he specs himself into Dark Pulse, because Draco doesn't necessarily kill. So at this point, I do want to know if he specs, and Mach Punch Okos this thing anyway, and he doesn't really have a safe switch into Mach Punches, honestly, except for the Tornadus. But Tornadus doesn't even really want to take two, so I'm just going to click... Pain Split, and if he's not specs, so he goes for the U-turn. Okay, I'm just gonna keep Pain Splitting here constantly. So he may still be choiced into that U-turn. We don't know for sure, but he's just turning off everything. Could have clicked Willow there. If he goes back into Tornadus, then this, he gets the Regenerator and I get my health back. But we're just gonna be like sitting here Pain Splitting forever, I guess, because like nothing. He has, something has to give here. He's either got to do something to me to make me feel like it's a better thing to do to switch into something else, or I've got to take a risky switch and go into something that I really don't want to. That I want to safe switch into something, and it sort of depends on what's on his side of the field, what's on my side of the field. So he goes out into the Aggron at this point, and I'm just gonna click. At this next turn, I'm just gonna click Will-O-Wisp here. There's no reason not to. How bulky are you? That's a decent amount of investment in that, and I'm just gonna click Will-O-Wisp. Please land it at this point. So he's gonna Mega Evolve straight up. I do survive that's a Breloom. I don't know why I'm calculating on Breloom. Dusknoir from if Breloom can survive a Heavy Slam, I'm pretty sure Dusknoir can survive a Heavy Slam. And we are gonna get this Will-O-Wisp off, and hold on. I just somehow managed to lose my Dusknoir calc. I accidentally refreshed the page, and that's terrible. So we're going to take a second. We're going to put that back in to the calc thing. Damage calculator. And there we go. Dusknoir is back. It's facing down an Aggron. And Aggron can't do anything. So at this point, we know he outspeeds. That was interesting. I guess he does by default outspeed. So he could set up his rocks here, which would be obviously not ideal because I don't have Defog this week. I could go out into Mew, which he could think has Defog. I could go out into Breloom, which would be it's a pretty good switch actually, in my opinion, to go out into Breloom right here because he is burned, and so that's going to do half of anything it would have otherwise done. And so, if I can say that he's burned on this, he's only looking at about 40% max with a Heavy Slam to Breloom. So we are going to go into Breloom here. He's going to switch out, what's he going to go into here? He's going to go back out into the Hydreigon, and I'm going to go into Breloom, and that gives me a free chance to click Mach Punch and get a bunch of damage on something. Now, the alternative to that would be to click Rock Tomb, predicting that Tornadus to come out, but now is not the time to do that. If he doesn't, and he just goes for the Fire Blast and takes out my Breloom, that's just game, pretty much. So I'm just going to click Mach Punch here. Maybe he's got like a Chople Berry. He hasn't revealed his item, and if he does, then that's just incredible prep on his part. Because that would allow this thing to survive, and we haven't seen what his item is. So if he is Chople Berry, then he just goes for a Fire Blast and obliterates my Breloom on this Mach Punch. If he's not Chople Berry, if he's maybe Specs with that U-turn, then we actually get that. This thing goes down. Nothing on his team really appreciates a Mach Punch here, except Tornadus. Tornadus is the only thing that can really take it well. Breloom can. It's a 3-hit KO on Aggron, and Aggron's got a little bit of damage off on it, which is perfect. Tornadus is taking about 30 to 40% from a Mach Punch. So he goes out into the Mega Aggron, and I don't think with the burn, this thing is going to take 2 Mach Punches well. It's going to be close. That's really, really close. Now, it will die to the next burn, but I don't know if that's a risk I want to take, if that's the damage I want to take. But honestly, the amount of damage on this Breloom doesn't matter as long as it's alive. And this thing can't OHKO me. So I'm going to click Mach Punch, and if I can keep this thing from like setting up rocks or something, then that would be great. He goes for a Rest. Okay, so that's fun. So Aggron, we've seen Heavy Slam, and we've seen Rest. So he does survive, and he does Rest. Now, again, it's a 3-hit KO, which means that if I just hit it twice, I can take this thing out. Now, the other alternative here is going out into my Exploud, which can just about 1-hit KO this thing, and this is a pretty safe switch into it. And it gives me a chance to click Boom Burst, which actually does 2-hit KO an Aggron. 2-hit KO is a non-specially defensive Mega Aggron, which we just revealed that this is not, because that's exactly the amount of damage it should have done from a Breloom. He's got the Sleep Talk, that's okay. And he's got Avalanche. Wow, good thing I switched out there. Because I can take that from this easily. Was that a specially defensive Aggron? No, that was an offensive Aggron I was looking at. So it's not even a physically defensive Aggron. But he's asleep. Not burned. Now, if he is specially defensive, then obviously the play here is to go for a Focus Blast. I don't like that idea because it means that I probably will miss it. But also super affects like most of his team. Alternatively, Boom Burst 2-hit KOs a non-invested Mega Aggron. So I want to know if he's invested. I'm going to click Boom Burst. I outspeed it, so worst case scenario is he gets off a Heavy Slam here. And it does a lot to me from a Sleep Talk. And that is obviously worst case scenario. But let's see how much this does. That is a not specially defensively invested Mega Aggron. So we will get a chance to take this out with a Boom Burst if he doesn't hit a Heavy Slam crit here. So he goes for another Avalanche. And that's going to do a decent chunk to me. Obviously, after I hit him, it does a lot. But I just get another chance to click Boom Burst. He could go out into Nihilego now, knowing that I am Choice Specs based on that damage. Nihilego does actually eat hits from this, Exploud. And so we are, though, slowly getting his team to the point where I think we're breaking it down a bit. I know we're on turn 14 and it's still 6-6, but he doesn't have a lot of great options here. So there's Nihilego, which takes about 30 to 40% from this, and obviously that's not what I wanted to see right here. And we'll see, does he have Black Sludge? No, he could set up rocks here. Letting Exploud go down is not in the schedule at this moment in time. I could go into Mew here. Mew can take any hits from the Nihilego just fine. It's an offensive Mew this week, so it's not going to be as good at taking hits as usual, It is a 2-hit KO from Sludge Bomb, and it outspeeds me by nature. So I really don't want to just hard switch into Mew here. I could go out into Dusk Noir. Dusk Noir is actually probably the best move here. If it goes down, then I get a safe switch out into Delphox, which then we can find out if he's Scarfed or not. Or alternatively, I can go out into Breloom, where Breloom can OHKO with a Mach Punch. So he does get the poison, which is annoying. It's not like the end of the world because it's just regular poison and I have leftovers. So we see the Sludge Wave. So he does get the poison on my Dusk Noir, and he obviously outspeeds at this point. Now I want to know if he's Scarfed or not, but I think either way, I think the play is going to be either clicking Will-O-Wisp or Shadow Sneak, although it's possibly clicking Pain Split, so that I can be healthy again, because I don't have, he'll hit me again. So I think he's going to go for another Sludge Wave. He's not going to go for another Sludge Wave. He's going to switch out. He's going to switch out into the Piloswine, which I don't mind getting a Pain Split on, and I can burn it next turn. So I'm okay with this whole turn of events. We're back to like pretty close to full. This Piloswine has really no good recovery options, and I do have a chance to, at this point to either click Counter, which he would not be expecting if this thing does have knockoff, or I can click Will-O-Wisp. And I think getting the Will-O-Wisp is more valuable long term, with the Aggron no longer sleeping, or no longer burned, I mean, and Mach Punch not quite being a place to kill. So he is at this point going to set up his Stealth Rock, so my Delphox is going to go down if it does switch in again, but everything else is okay to take any hit or from the Stealth Rocks. I miss my Willow. I mean, that's, you know, that is. And so I could at this point go for a counter, and I think that may be the play. He hasn't been playing the way that I'm expecting him to, and if he wants to preserve this thing to not be burned, that would be very within reason. But if this thing does have knockoff, it's gonna do a huge chunk, and I kill it. Whereas burning it, I don't kill it, and he could switch out here, but I think Willow is the long-term play here. And yeah, if he does switch out, Willow can hit anything on the switch-in except for like the Mega Aggron. And at this point, he can probably just click Rest again when he wakes up. He's going to wake up on this turn, so he can either rest on this turn, or he can rest on the following turn and try to get an attack off on this turn. And I think he's probably going to rest on... He's just going to attack me here, because he does wake up. And if I can click Counter... I mean, if it works, this is my one chance where if it works, but he could just click Rest, knowing that he might be in Mach Punch range. And if that's his play, if he just wakes up and clicks Rest, and I reveal that I have Counter, then that's not ideal, because then he just hard switches out. And so I have a choice to either click Pain Split and possibly lose HP, but if he does Rest, then that's the most damage I can do, or click Counter when he wakes up and clicks like Heavy Slam here. And I kind of want to click Counter. I think this is the time where if he's going to attack me, because he thinks he's pretty safe, he's going to do it. And there's the Heavy Slam, and as long as I can survive one Heavy Slam, which I can click Counter and get this thing 80 HP down, is going to take out the Mega Aggron, and Mega Aggron going down is absolutely massive for my team. So Dusk Noir, I mean, why are you not reading? Dusk Noir kills Mega Aggron with Counter. And that Pokemon, that one Pokemon being down, means that Tornadus Therian is his only safe switch into Breloom clicking Mach Punch for the rest of the match. And that means that when I can get that Breloom in, if I can get that Tornadus Therian whittled down somehow, I know it's got Regenerator and I don't have rocks, but if I can get it whittled down just a little bit, or if I know he's going to switch into it and I can click Rock Tomb with my Breloom, that is huge. And additionally, I do have the ability to transform with Mew, or ICMZ it with Mew. So there's the Jolteon. I think Dusk Noir has done its job. I really don't think there's going to be another opportunity for this thing to get anything off, unless I get the Sticky Webs up, and then I can click Pain Split. But I honestly don't expect it. I mean, he knows that I'm now Counter, So I don't expect anything else to come of this. So I'm just going to click Shadow Sneak, break a potential Focus Sash on this Jolteon, get this little bit of damage in here. I mean, that's not negligible. That's a decent amount of damage. And he goes for the Shadow Ball with the Jolteon. So we don't get a ton of information about his set, but we do get to write down at this moment in time... wait, did he burn himself? Okay, we do get a lot of information about his set. Jolteon kills Dusknoir with Shadow Ball. Never mind, we have Flame Orb, Quick Feet Jolteon. So, okay, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Mach Punch will kill from here if this is not like a ridiculously defensively invested Jolteon, and I can't really see it being that. And so I kind of want to go out into Breloom at this point, and click Mach Punch. Because honestly, even if he goes out into Tornadus, I just switch into Delphox, which I can't really heal anyway, go out into Mew, and get an ICMZ off, and the rest of his team doesn't take that well. And from there, I can proceed to use Galvantula, and Breloom again. So I could just click Mach Punch. I can predict and click Rock Tomb, but HP Ice has a chance to kill me straight up from my spread. No, that's if he's Specs. He's not Specs. We know he's not Specs. So nothing's going to kill me from a Breloom, so I actually kind of want to click Rock Tomb on this prediction. Breloom can't kill me. Breloom. Jolteon can't kill me with an HP Ice, so I'm going to click Rock Tomb. And there's the Hidden Power Ice, so how much is this going to do? We know he's not Specs, so we do survive that. As long as we don't miss the Rock Tomb, that also will kill. And so Breloom kills Jolteon with Rock Tomb. Now that does limit Breloom's number of times it can switch in on the rocks, but it should only need to be like one more time after his Tornadus comes out. He doesn't necessarily know that I'm Choice Banded, so he's probably not going to bring his Tornadus out right now. Might bring in like Hydreigon. He can't bring in Hydreigon. He has to go into Tornadus. That's the only thing that can take a hit. He could go into Nihilego, I guess, but it can't take a Mach Punch. So I'm going to switch out, obviously, no matter what, right out into Delphox because I don't have a Defogger. And then from there, probably go into Mew or Galvantula. If it's Nihilego that comes in, it's Galvantula that I switch into. If it's anything else, I probably go into Mew. And I think I just click ICMZ because we've gotten rid of a couple of things that might have been able to survive the ICMZ from the Mew. Including that Mega Aggron, which is just absolutely huge for my team. Breloom just needs to start picking away at his Pokemon. So out comes the Nihilego. Yep, that's what I was expecting. And I do want to be able to get that safe switch. So we are going to switch out into the Delphox at this point. And let that go down to the Stealth Rocks. I have no way of healing it. So we're just going to let it die. See what he's going to go for. If he goes for Toxic Spikes, that would honestly be the best play. So the Stealth Rocks are going to kill this, so Piloswine is going to get a kill with that. So Delphox, I didn't see what he went for. I'm an idiot. I forgot to look at what he was going for. But it wasn't Toxic Spikes. Delphox dies to Stealth Rock. And at this point I can go into Galvantula. Or I can go into Mew and bluff that I'm Scarfed, but that just doesn't seem like a great option to me. But I can like click Earth Power. No, I don't think that's a good play. I think it's got to be Galvantula here. But he does still have the Piloswine left, which is scary. Piloswine is a problem. Now another option is going back into Breloom here, but then he'll believe that I'm Choice Banded. I think that'll kind of give it away. But does it matter? I mean, the thing is, almost does it matter? Like, then he switched down to Tornadus, and Tornadus is still the thing that I just can't quite break through with Breloom. I need Breloom to be able to get through his team when that Tornadus dies. And the one thing I need alive for that is Mew. So, at this point, I think Galvantula doesn't need... I don't need Galvantula for anything for the remainder of this game. Like, I don't need it, right? Like, it's great to have, but I don't need it. Now, if he expects me to go for a Thunder here, which he might, because I outspeed and Thunder is the stronger move, it doesn't kill, but it does more, then he may switch out. Now, I do have Light Screen on this. We know you're not Life Orb. I don't know what item you are, but you know you're not Life Orb. So he could also be Scarfed. We don't know if he's Scarfed. This would be this would be when I figure out if he's Scarfed or not. I kind of want to click Sticky Web in case he goes out into the Piloswine here, just so that this Nihilego isn't a problem later on in the match. Although he's probably just going to defog that anyway. I'm going to click Thunder. We'll find out if he's Scarfed right here. If he is Scarfed, then he'll outspeed. He'll probably kill me with a Power Gem, or possibly kill me with a Power Gem. It's only a roll. So, oh, he's Scarfed into Sludge Wave. Great. So we know he's Scarfed, and we know he's got Sludge Wave on. So that does kill. I'm a little bit surprised about that. And he does get the special attack boost. So that's not good. So Nihilego kills Galvantula with Sludge Wave. So, at this point, he's +1. I think the only switch I have is into Mew, which is the only thing that can take a +1 Sludge Wave, and it's a roll. And it's not a good roll. Oh wait, that's hold on, we know he's Scarfed, not Life Orb. No, it's a fine roll. It's a guaranteed 2 KO after Stealth Rock, so I can take it from there. The other option is going out into Breloom and forcing him to switch into Tornadus. But no, Breloom... It forces the switch into Tornadus. Because I have to click... I mean, I obviously click Mach Punch at that point. But Tornadus then just... Like, I can't take any damage on Mew. So I have to go out into Exploud, sack that off. Or I go into Mew and don't sack anything off. So we're just going to go with Mew. I was expecting him to bring a Scarfed Nihilego. That was in the calcs. And at this point I can click Earth Power. I could click Transform. What would Transform do for me, though? I don't think Transform would do anything for me at this point in time. I mean, I would get the +1, but then it's a speed tie, and that's super terrifying. No, he's Scarfed. It wouldn't do anything. We're going to click Earth Power. So there's a Sludge Wave. We know this is a 2-hit KO, so if he gets a crit here, then that's a huge threat and a huge problem, and I lose the game. But he doesn't, so we get an Earth Power off, which takes out Nihilego. So Mew kills Nihilego with Earth Power. And Hydreigon could come in, but it's not Scarf. Tornadus comes in. If Tornadus comes in, what do I do? I mean, what do I do against Tornadus? How do I beat a Tornadus at this point? Hydreigon comes in. He's not Scarfed, probably. We don't know that for sure. But we outspeed it if he's not Scarfed. And I'm just going to click Z Ice. ICMZ here. Maybe he thinks that I'm choiced. But obviously his Nihilego would outspeed my choice Scarfed Mew. So I think he might think... I don't know why he didn't go into Tornadus. Tornadus wins him the game. I think he knows that Tornadus wins him the game. And... let's see. So how do I take down Tornadus? It has to be on a prediction where Breloom clicks Rock Tomb on a Tornadus that switches in. He's also Scarfed Hydreigon. Wow. He's running double Scarfers this week. I actually sort of predicted that he would possibly do that, and I just didn't expect it to actually come through that way. So that's pretty incredible. That's good prep on his part. Hydreigon kills Mew with Dark Pulse. I had the prep to kill this thing. But at this point, I have to click Mach Punch. I don't survive a Dark Pulse, and he's just going to let this thing go down. He doesn't have to switch in Tornadus here, unless he really cares about differential, but I don't think he does. And either way, I think Mach Punch is still the best play. I could Rock Tomb and really make that huge prediction, but instead, yeah, he's just going to let this thing go down. And so Hydreigon's going to go down here, and Breloom is going to get another kill. Breloom kills Hydreigon with Mach Punch, and in comes the Tornadus. And a couple of those missed predictions at the beginning, not getting the damage off on the Piloswine earlier, really, really hurt me in the long run of this game. Oh my god, keyboard. What are you doing? Really, really hurt me in the beginning of this game, and I feel like I played well, but this team is tough to break through. He didn't switch out. If I had gone for the Mach Punch on the Jolteon and Breloom was healthier, that might have made a difference. Leaving in Delphox to take down to the Focus Sash early was also tough. But double Scarfers is a pretty good play on his part. Now, this thing I think just kills both my Pokemon at this point. Mach Punch is the only play to make. You know, maybe he's fully physical. Oh no, he showed Hurricane. He could miss a Hurricane here. He could miss a Hurricane. He does miss a Hurricane. And I could crit a Mach Punch and he could miss another Hurricane. I don't think he goes for Hurricane again. I think he just goes for U-turn at this point. But he could miss another Hurricane. If I manage to break through this Tornadus, then I do have a chance of winning this game. But if I do hit it, if he misses another Hurricane at this point after a Mach Punch, then he just switches out into the Piloswine, lets that go down, comes back into this thing with another. It's an ability to take an extra Mach Punch basically with Regenerator, and then keeps clicking Hurricane if that's the way he thinks he has to kill me. But he showed U-turn earlier, and U-turn would kill my Breloom at this point. So I guess maybe if I'm super bulky, then it won't. And I don't know if he knows that I'm not super bulky like that. But crit Mach Punch would be huge. Nothing doing there. There's the U-turn. And if that doesn't kill Breloom, okay. He gave himself an opportunity to take another Mach Punch, which is unfortunate. But we do take out the Piloswine, which is fun. So we get a little bit of a differential there, which is good. And knowing that U-turn doesn't kill my Breloom, he has to click Hurricane again, potentially, which means he could miss again. And there's a chance that we end up somehow pulling this one out, despite really not deserving it. So we play these games to the end. Breloom gets another kill. Keyboard, please. Keyboard, please. Breloom kills Piloswine. What the heck is going on with Mach Punch? I mean, I have no choice here, right? We just do what we've been doing. And if he misses this Hurricane, that's game. We just won. Oh my god, I had consigned myself to losing this game. Scadden is okay. Scadden, what in the world just happened? Oh my god. I have no words. It's funny because he may not know, but the damage roll, he did 17 last time with the U-turn, so his U-turn may have killed, and then he would have gotten an extra Hurricane to try to kill my Exploud. But he had to land 2 out of 3 Hurricanes, and he couldn't do it. And we click Mach Punch here. Obviously we click Mach Punch here, there's no choice. This thing doesn't have like Gale Wings to roost or anything, and if it does, then it has no type, and Mach Punch does more damage. Oh my god, like this is unreal that this is something that's going to happen right now. I honestly have no words to describe the way that this feels right now, because this is a game that I felt outplayed. All the props to my opponent for prepping so well. His double Scarfer caught me by surprise. He took out the threats he needed to take out, got the rocks up at the right time. I made a couple of good predictions with the counter on the Mega Aggron at that right time. I made a couple of plays where I felt like I did the right thing. Staying in with the Breloom here and just clicking Mach Punch as opposed to switching out was huge. But the fact that I mean, the staying in on the Jolteon, not going out to Tornadus, knowing that was his win condition, and having the situation at the end there where he had the win condition in his, like, it was ready, it was there, and he just, I mean, Hurricane, man, 70% accurate moves. I never have moves miss me. I always miss my own moves, so I know how it feels. Shout outs to Quinn and the Toronto Togekiss guys. I'm pretty sure he uploads, so if his link will be in the description below. Go watch his side of the battle. I hope you guys enjoy this content. This is why we battle. This is what we're here to do. Oh my god, I can't believe it, but hey, that's the game we play. We may face this team in the playoffs. Who knows? That makes the New York Empoleon 3-1 in the UBLN so far. Shout outs to my opponent, Quinn. That was an incredible battle. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I'll see you all this weekend with the TBL. Take care, everybody.